What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Doom Goblin, and today I am coming in with a solo triple KEM strike brought to you guys by Doom Swift. He's running around on Warhawk, just dropping kids left and right. This is a pretty long gameplay, so before I dive into the topic of the story, I just kind of wanted to elaborate on the gameplay a little bit more here. So basically, what is really impressive about this is not only was it core 6v6 domination, so he wasn't getting one-shot kills or having a bunch of extra kids on the other team and on his team to kind of help him and back him up and save his life and shit. It was just straight up 6v6. And that is impressive in itself. Even triple KEM, at least in my opinion, because I've never gotten to KEM before, is impressive with a full support party on 6v6. But then, soloing it is fucking crazy. So definitely props to Swift for this one. Check him out in the description below. But the other cool thing about this one is that it was done on a live stream. So for any of you guys that may have been in the stream when this happened, then you heard his live reaction. Sadly, I can't, play it in this video because there's copyright music in the background and YouTube is absolute fucking Hitler about that. I just, no copyright music here, can't do that. So if you guys want to hear the actual live reaction and what happened, then I will put a link to that in the comment section, I can't talk, I didn't sleep last night. I will put a link to the original gameplay in the comment section of this video, and you can hear his live reaction around like 12 and a half minutes in, or something like that. It's pretty funny, so just wanted to point that out real quick. Definitely props to Swift. Check himself and myself out in the description below, and without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and dive into the topic since I have so much time to talk to you guys today. So the topic of the story that I'm going to be telling you guys today is actually the first time I ever watched porn. And I wasn't caught doing this or anything. I was actually really young, and I didn't know what it was until later when I kind of realized what I had done at that time. I was in first grade, and I was only like 6 or 7 years old, and I remember this so well because it was so weird to me. It was foreign. It was like an alien thing. It was like what I was seeing just wasn't real. It was fucking weird. I don't even know how to describe it. Basically, how this all came to happen was I woke up really early one morning, and it was a weekend, and little kids, if you guys remember, every time, when you guys were like 6 or 7, you'd always wake up super early in the morning because you go to sleep super early, and, your parents would still be sleeping, and you'd sit there, want to play with your little Legos or your fucking Barbie dolls or whatever you guys played with when you were like 6, or you'd want to go watch SpongeBob or like Johnny Bravo or something on Cartoon Network and stuff like that, and you'd always just wake up so early in the morning before your parents were awake. And I remember this morning, I woke up at like 5 a.m. It was like 4 or 5 a.m. And I don't know why. That was even early for my standards, actually. And usually every morning I would get up and I would go watch like SpongeBob or something. I'd just go give myself something to do until my parents woke up because, I couldn't do much independently. However, this morning I was like, fuck it. I don't like SpongeBob. That shit's gay. I hate SpongeBob. That's for pussies. That's for lame ass motherfuckers, dude. I'm no first grader no more. I'm moving on to the second grade next year. I gotta straighten my shit out. I gotta watch Family Guy, South Park, all that shit. So I just started flipping channels, and I was flipping channels for like 30 minutes until I got up into the like high, I want to say it was the high 200s / low 300s of the channel numbers, and I had Dish Network, so that was kind of the like empty zone of channels. That was like the Bermuda Triangle, like nobody knows what the fuck is there or what's going on there because nobody watches those channels. And I sifted through, a ton of those channels that were like the call now and order 2 pieces of jewelry for 10 pesos, and in reality they'll be fake and we'll take all your fucking money and put you in debt, go fuck yourself kind of channels, And I flipped through a ton of those, and I didn't care though, because, it was all stuff I hadn't seen before. Then eventually I came to American Idol, and the channel that was right after American Idol was something that was very explicit. However, I didn't discover it because I liked American Idol. My dad watched it and he introduced me to it, and I just liked to see the auditions because people would act really stupid and sing terribly, and I'd laugh my ass off and be like, ha, you're a fucking loser, you can't sing for shit, go fuck yourself, No, I'm just playing, but maybe I'd think that back then. I don't know, I don't even think I knew what fuck was back then. But anyways, so I was sitting there for like 30 minutes. It was like 5:30 or 6 at this point, and I was like, wow, this fucking sucks. I don't care about any of these people singing right now because they're talented. Therefore, the show isn't entertaining because I want to see fuck-ups. And I flipped the channel, and I don't know how we had this channel, honestly. That's something that I've looked back on ever since I remembered this event, and it kind of scarred me. Somehow we had the Playboy channel, and that was not of my doing. My parents were divorced, so my dad was single. I'm not quite sure what was behind that. I'm not asking any questions. I'm not bringing up some deep-seated secret here. We're just not going to question that. I was like, fuck no. As soon as I remembered this, I was like, nope, no, we are not bringing this one up. But I remember I got to the Playboy channel, and I didn't know what it was at first, because it was some show, and I remember this, it was some show that like just started, and it was like an hour long, and it was like them recording the photo shoot and stuff. It wasn't an actual like porno, but there were like naked chicks in it and stuff. So it was like kind of porn, but it wasn't like sex and stuff like that. So I remember I was sitting there watching it, and at first I thought it was like some comedy show. I thought it was like The Office or something. I was like, oh, okay, this is gonna be fucking great, right? And I remember, the camera was like kind of pointed at this door in this little office, and like these two chicks came in, right? And then some dude who you couldn't see was asking a bunch of questions, and he was like, oh, how tall are you? How loose is your vagina? How big are your titties? Does your vagina look like roast beef? Does it look like Cheetos? Does it smell or taste like roast beef and or Cheetos? So good questions like that, shit like that. I didn't understand. I didn't even know what a fucking boob was. I probably couldn't even spell it. I write the B backwards because I was a fucking first grader. That's what I did. So I was sitting there watching, and I was like, wow, this is just fascinating. This is fantabulous television right here. And I started hearing some noise upstairs, and I didn't think much of it because I was like, whatever, my dad's probably waking up, but I didn't understand that what I was watching wasn't okay. I didn't understand it was porn until the clothes came off, and luckily I understood that was wrong, so I was able to like flip the channel and shit, because obviously, that's kind of common sense. Even at the age of like 6, you don't take your clothes off, you just don't. So I started noticing these ladies here on camera were naked, and I was like, okay, all right, that's a pussy, all right, that girl looks like Clifford, that girl looks like Courage the Cowardly Dog, and that girl has a nice rack. Nah, I'm fucking with you guys, but basically I was just kind of sitting there, and I was like, wow, what the fuck is this? I was fascinated. I was like, a naked girl? I've never even seen this before. On the school bus, I drink my juice pouches, and that's about the closest I've ever gotten to a girl, because I hadn't even like hugged one, and I'd maybe had to like high five one for some school activity. I didn't affiliate myself with girls back then. I wasn't in the playa game. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I hear some noise upstairs, so I flipped the channel back to American Idol immediately, and I just sat there like paralyzed. I was like, am I in trouble? Like, is this bad? Did I do something? Did I accidentally, break the law? Am I going to jail? Am I going to get fucking killed? Because I remember at the beginning of the show, I saw the like little warning that said like 18 plus, or like 18 or older, or whatever the little warning is in front of porno videos, and I was like, alright, well, no one's gonna know. No one's gonna know if I'm watching this. It's alright, I'm gonna watch it anyways. My parents asleep, my dad's asleep, it doesn't fucking matter, I don't care. And then I kind of waited for it to die down, and then I flipped back, and I kept watching, and I remember this video. I just remember this, like, show, video, I don't even know what to call this. I just remember this so well. I remember after the chicks got naked, they, like, put their clothes back on. I was, like, 7, so I was just sitting there like, wow. Every second of this is fascinating. Like, how nowadays, all of us, we know this, assuming everybody here is old enough and mature and stuff like that, we know we're not going to sit there and get the storyline of a porno and hear how the pizza delivery guy's truck broke down in the hot, lonely neighbor's driveway, and he had to go inside to get a wrench and repair it, and her sink broke, so then he had to repair the sink, and then they had sex under the sink, Like, I didn't necessarily, like, understand that, this wasn't a TV show or anything, that this wasn't some sort of comedy, whereas nowadays, you see that shit, you just fucking skip over it. Like, where's the dick inside of her? Come on, But back then, I was so intrigued. I was like, this is fascinating. It appears here that Sheila Shitcock has actually gotten her sink broken here, and then this man has to come repair it. And I was so fascinated with like everything they were doing, and then it turned into like a photo shoot where they were posing out by like a pool and shit, and I'm just sitting here like, wow, I'll tell you, this is fucking amazing. This is absolutely fucking amazing. And I was just sitting there, and I swear to God, so much time went by, and every time I would hear any movement upstairs at all, even like a snore or like a different tone of snore, because my dad snores or anything like that, I would just flip the channel back to American Idol, because I started to catch on like, yeah, alright, this is not right, this is not cool, fuck no, I ain't about this shit. And, like I said, I was in first grade, so I didn't understand exactly what the point of this was. I was like, why would you take off your clothes? Clothes are comfy, you're probably cold right now. That's why your nipples are hard, young lady, you're probably very cold right now. And I was just sitting there watching it for so long, and then, finally, I remember myself kind of sitting there after this like show ended, and I don't know if I like changed the channel, back to American Idol, or if I just like changed it back to like Cartoon Network or whatever the channels I knew were. But I just remember after that particular thing was over, it lasted like an hour, maybe an hour and a half or something like that. It was really long. I remember I was just sitting there like what the fuck is this? Just what the fuck is this? But I had to tell my friends. I had to. So the next day, I remember, not the next day, it was a couple days later because it was a Saturday, and then it was some school day during that upcoming week. I told my friends about it, and I was like, guys, listen, I'm sitting here at the lunch table. I'm the fucking ringleader right now because everyone's like, did you really see a vagina? That's fucking disgusting, you piece of shit. Go fuck yourself. You're a fucking pervert. That's what all my homies were telling me. And I'm like, listen, guys, it ain't that bad, okay? You gotta go to the Playboy channel and you gotta watch Sheila Shitcock get her sink repaired and then pose out by the pool where she's very cold because she's naked. You guys have to see this. This is premium content. You have to go watch this. It's like the new hit movie right now. All the first graders going to watch it. The Lego movie couldn't even compete with this shit right now. So I told my friends about it. I was spreading the word, and one of my friends, he apparently found out what I was talking about. I remember because he didn't, like, none of us knew what it was. I didn't call it porn because I didn't know what porn was. I just called it some sort of weird show. And then I remember the next day after I told my friends that, one of my friends came back to me and he was like, what the heck was that? Like, I'm pretty sure that's how, it was something like that word for word. Because first graders, you wouldn't swear. You wouldn't be like, what the fuck? Go fuck yourself. I'll beat your ass. Square up. I call my shooters, fam. Real talk. Like, you're not going to say that shit in first grade. But I remember he came back to school the next day and he goes up to me and he's like, dude, what did you tell me to watch? I was so weird. And I was like, listen, bro. Okay. I don't know what that was, but all I know is that this lady, Sheila Shitcock, she was cold and she was in trouble. And her sink was broken or something like that, And it kind of had me intrigued. It had me intrigued. And it was something so new for me, but I didn't understand it was porn until later on in my life, way later on in my life. Now I kind of sat there remembering that event, and I was like, that raises a lot of questions. That raises a lot of fucking questions. So, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this little story. I just felt like sharing it because it was kind of a entertaining little thing from my childhood. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, check out Swift and myself in the description below. Let's go for 100, or not 100, excuse me. I think I'm talking to my personal right now. I'm not. I forgot, You guys, Doom doesn't get 100 likes. Let's go for 500 likes in honor of this 6 solo triple chem strike on Warhawk, just smacking them the fuck up. Hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay. Like I said in the beginning of the commentary, I will link the raw gameplay with the live reaction in the comment section below. So if you guys see that comment, please give it a thumbs up so then other people can see it and go watch it, not have to sift through tons of comments of people saying Doom Clan is fake. Fuck you, my Pub Stop It Clan's better. Check out my epic YouTube content. I make great videos just like the Doom Clan, because I actually got a 10 gun streak one time. I don't want to have to force you guys to sift through that. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, check out myself and Swift in the description below, and check out the link to the original gameplay, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.